Han Tae-oh is a child who is running away from his family, especially his father who always commits domestic violence against him and his mother. Tae-oh looks for a house in a village where his mother used to live. Even though Tae-oh is still 18 years old, he is already independent and lives on his own. In that village, there was also a handsome, very rich young man named Kang In-ha. He is the child of an illicit relationship with a conglomerate. He was rejected by his brothers and ostracized by them. Tae-oh transferred to the school where In-ha also goes to school. Tae-oh is a smart transfer student. During school lunchtime, In-ha deliberately bullies Tae-oh just because he doesn't like Tae-oh. Tae-oh, who is also emotional, doesn't accept In-ha's treatment. They fight until their teacher comes and stops them. Then he got a call from someone. Tae-oh suddenly hung up the phone and ran and took a taxi. Tae-oh came to a monastery. Then he told a nun to leave from there. It turned out that the nun was his mother. Tae-oh takes his mother on the bus and her mother goes alone without him. It turned out the call was from his father who was in prison. He threatens Tae-oh that he will order his men to look for his mother and him. Tae-oh and In-ha met in front of the building for boxing practice. Tae-oh asked if that place teaches people to kill. In-ha said he would teach him that if Tae-oh could beat him. They also fight in the boxing arena. Initially, Tae-oh gets hit continuously by In-ha. Then suddenly Tae-oh remembers when his father hit him when he was little. Tae-oh, who was very angry, suddenly hit In-ha with all his strength. In-ha also told Tae-oh to stop hitting him, because Tae-oh looked like he wanted to kill him.
네가 이겼어, 이 새끼야.
When taking Tae-oh home, In-ha asked Tae-oh to be friends, but at that time, Tae-oh refused.
친구?
Tae-ha came to accompany Tae-oh to listen to music. It was her mother's favorite song. Tae-oh said that the person who committed domestic violence against him, it was not his biological father. He will be sentenced to death and is in prison. Then Tae-oh invites In-ha to be friends. In-ha is confused because Tae-oh previously rejected him. Tae-oh said he wants to use In-ha. In-ha will be in the room that helped him, and in return, Tae-oh will help to get In-ha's wish. That Tae-oh had something better, namely In-ha's despair, including In-ha to enter a prestigious university with Tae-oh. In 2013, Tae-oh went to college and became a teaching assistant. He also had other jobs. He has beautiful neighbor, and they look at each other. In-ha prepares a surprise for Tae-oh's birthday. He prepared a birthday cake and food for Tae-oh. Then Tae-oh provides industrial organization report data and lecture note for In-ha. And In-ha accepted it happily. Then In-ha gave a job as a math tutor to her half sister who was still in high school.
좀 즐겨라, 새끼야. 어?
Tae-oh was called by Professor Choi Dong-guk. He praised the report made by Tae-oh, which showed the future strategy for Kangoo, the company managed by In-ha family, as the Professor Choi wants to buy Tae-oh report. It turned out that Professor Choi gave the report to Kang Sung-joo, the second son of Chairman Kang Jung-moo, Kang In-ha's father. Tae-oh's neighbor turned out to be on the same campus as him, but Tae-oh ignores her and pretends he doesn't know her. The woman introduced herself to Tae-oh, that her name was Na Ye-won. While Tae-oh and In-ha were enjoying lunch together, Hye-won came to it too. Tae-oh looks at her without blinking. In-ha, who looks at Tae-ho, asks if you like her. Tae-oh didn't pay attention to In-ha's question. He just changed the topic. Then In-ha said, if you don't like her, then I will seduce her. Tae-oh doesn't care about In-ha and leaves him.
우리 태호 귀엽네.
Tae-oh enters the In-ha family residence to tutor his younger half-sister, Kang Hye-ju, who is a first-year high school student at Kanggo Art School. When Tae-oh starts giving tutoring, Hye-ju actually asked to chat about other things. But Tae-oh didn't care and continued his work. Hye-ju said that usually smart people are boring. Hye-ju asked Tae-oh to change his style. Tae-oh also told Hye-ju to stop testing his passion, because his passion can be both.
나혜원 있잖아.
In-ha asks what Tae-oh thinks about Hye-won, because In-ha is really interested in her. In-ha asks where she lives and works, and what she likes, but Tae-oh doesn't care. Tae-oh saw a woman at Hye-won's house. She broke the glass in Hye-won's house. It turned out that the woman was her mother, who was asking Hye-won for money. Hye-won turned her head and saw Tae-oh, who was looking at her and her mother, who were arguing. Tae-oh saw Hye-won walking alone in the rain. Tae-oh followed and gave her an umbrella to Hye-won. Hye-won asked Tae-oh to ignore it. Then Tae-oh invites her to drink together. Tae-oh reasoned that they are neighbors and in the same class, and that's the reason enough to ask her to drink together. Tae-oh really just drank without asking anything about what happened to Hye-won. In-ha gets a visitor. It turned out she is her stepmother. She asks In-ha to hand over her inherited shares. It turned out that Tae-oh had just that his stepmother would offer that, and if Tae-oh wanted to come in, then In-ha had to accept the request. In-ha buys drink at the convenience store to drink with Tae-oh. Suddenly, he sees Hye-won, who is looking for drinks. In-ha offers Hye-won to drink with them. Then In-ha invites Tae-oh and Hye-won to drink at his house because Tae-oh's house was too small to drink together. They also drink together at In-ha's house. In-ha says that Hye-won doesn't have friends because she's always alone. Then Hye-won asks In-ha to be friends. But In-ha doesn't want it to be just a friend. He wants to be Hye-won's boyfriend. In-ha is confident because Tae-oh said that he is so rich that it's okay to lose a lot. But Hye-won rejected him because she was too busy to date. Tae-oh took Hye-won home. While on the bus, Hye-won sent a message and asked Tae-oh to drink together. The two of them enjoyed the night above at the building. Hye-won said, aren't you friends with In-ha for the reason I thought? As In-ha golden robe. Because Tae-oh and Hye-won are very similar. Actually, what Hye-won wants is that In-ha is an illegitimate child from the Kanggo group. In-ha come to the Tae-oh house. He was confused why Tae-oh didn't tell him that Hye-won was his neighbor. Hye-won asked Tae-oh to help her, but Tae-oh refused. He wouldn't help her, but wouldn't hinder her either. Hye-won is sure that even if Tae-oh rejects her, Tae-oh will end up helping her. The Kanggo family was eating together. Suddenly, Hye-ju asked her father to invite In-ha to eat with them because Hye-ju missed him. Even though the other opposite, Hye-ju remained and then met so her father agreed.
일하 녀석 스케줄
Then In-ha was called directly by his father and invited him to have dinner together. Tae-oh had expected him to call, but he moved faster than he expected. Tae-oh said that Chairman Kanggo was old-hearted, that In-ha's stepmother took advantage of her authority and made her angry. Before the succession was complete, the chairman must have planned to obtain inheritance waiver from In-ha. In the future, Tae-ho asks In-ha to instill a person who is innocent but not naive, a person who will not be greedy. Tae-ho is sure that In-ha can do it. In-ha gets a call from Hyo-ju. She is on her way to tutoring. Hyo-ju says that In-ha owes her something about family dinner. In-ha felt happy and sad hearing about that. Then Hyo-ju invited her brother to have dinner together. While waiting for In-ha, Hyo-ju threw Tae-oh. The waiter came in to bring them drinks. It turned out the waiter was Ye-won. Hyo-ju guessed that she knows Tae-oh because she is In-ha's college friend. Hyo-ju joked that she shouldn't approach Tae-oh. Then Ye-won also said the same thing to Hyo-ju. And that made Hyo-ju a bit annoyed and ordered food that wasn't on the menu.
아주 자극적인 짜장면으로 주세요.
When her sister came home, In-ha met Ye-won. He apologized for his sister's action, which made Ye-won uncomfortable. Ye-won just smiled because she was also being impolite to her. Then In-ha would wait for her until she finished work. But Ye-won said that she was too busy to date. She also didn't trust anyone.
난 사람 말 안 믿어.
In-ha finally comes to his family house. He is greeted by In-ju, his older brother. Even though In-ju was rude, In-ha still respected him. Hyo-ju came and tiffened In-ha, and she was so angry with In-ju's attitude. Hyo-ju bit his finger. In-ju got angry and asked In-ha to leave the house. His mother came and asked not to come to the house. In-ha, who looked disappointed, finally left the house. Mr. Moon tells Chairman Kang Jung-mo about what happened with In-ha. Tae-oh comes to meet In-ha at the beach. In-ha says if he would be comfortable living without greed aspect in her. Tae-oh doesn't know, but he is sure that it's time to kill back In-ha. That back In-ha has the right to complain about not greeting food. But Kang In-ha can do that. Tae-oh says that In-ha will be embarrassed a lot, but he asks In-ha not to worry because he will make him perfect. As soon as they pass through the Gangguk doors, the shared Prosperity Cooperative Center was ready. The family dinner went on without In-ha arrival. Hyo-ju was very disappointed because no one cared about In-ha after he just left. They would be that mean and cold. Her mother asked Hyo-ju to sit down, but Hyo-ju left from there. Chairman Kang Jung-mo asked why In-ju did that. In-ju dared to insult him at his house. The Chairman Kang invited In-ha, but In-ju kicked him out. Chairman Kang will think about the benefits of insulting him. Her mother slapped Hyo-ju for being childish. Then her mother saw the slap marks on Hyo-ju's cheek and asked her to compress it. Hyo-ju's mother asked Mr. Moon why is Hyo-ju's attitude different and always defending In-ha. Is there something she doesn't know? Mr. Moon says that Hyo-ju's math tutor is In-ha's friend. Then the female servant said that Hyo-ju was not in her room. Hyo-ju's mother asked the servant to keep her mouth shut and not to let the chairman find out. Hyo-ju walked alone until she didn't realize that she didn't know where she was. Then she called Tae-oh and said that she had run away from home. Tae-oh finally comes to meet Hyo-ju. They sit together in the park. Hyo-ju thanks Tae-oh for not calling In-ha. Tae-oh says that her parent will be worried. Then Hyo-won passed by and met them. She was confused as to why they were there. Hyo-ju also explained that Tae-oh was her tutor. When she wanted to take Tae-oh out, suddenly In-ha came to pick up Hyo-ju. Hyo-ju was annoyed with Tae-oh and said she wouldn't move a step if Tae-oh didn't come with her. Then Hyo-won also asked for a ride because her house was opposite Tae-oh's house. Yuju is still shocked because Yewon and Tae-oh's house are opposite each other, and they meet day and night. Tae-oh and Yewon said goodbye and went into their homes. In-ha asked Yuju not to like Tae-oh, but Yuju knows that In-ha actually like Yewon. Yuju hoped Yewon will like In-ha.
내가 느낌 안 좋다고 했잖아.
Tae-oh received a message saying that his employment contract as Yuju tutor had been terminated. Then he booked a drink, and there was Yewon. She treated Tae-oh to a drink. They chat together in front of the stove. Yuju asked Tae-oh, "Where will we be in 10 years later?" Tae-oh replies that they will be where they want to be. Tae-oh also said that he didn't want to be an intermediary between Hyewon and In-ha. Don't take advantage of Tae-oh or try to get help from others.
무조건적인 공격이 아니라.
The waiter said that Yuju knew maths tutor was coming. Yuju was shocked to hear that. And suddenly she wanted to go to school, even though before that she wanted to rest. Finally, Yuju went to school without enthusiasm. Suddenly she stopped and got out of the car. She took a taxi and confused the driver. Yuju comes to Tae-oh College. She asks why Tae-oh didn't say goodbye to her. Yuju came here because she wanted to say goodbye to him, but Tae-oh didn't ask. Hyewon passed by and accidentally saw them. Yuju suddenly says that she likes Tae-oh, but Tae-oh ignores her and instead calls Mr. Moon. Tae-oh called Mr. Moon because he will return the remaining money given to him. Tae-oh also emphasized Yuju that there is no longer a relationship between teacher and student. Hyewon meets Tae-oh in the library. She sees him with Yuju and says that Tae-oh is too harsh on her. Hyewon couldn't hold back Tae-oh. Tae-oh doesn't understand Hyewon's intention, but he doesn't need to see Hyewon. When the two of them left, it turned out that In-ha was there and seemed to have heard their conversation.
너 진짜 뭐냐?
When Hyewon was studying, suddenly she was tackled by a group of men. They want to collect money because their mother stole 50 million. Hyewon asked them to charge her mother and make a report to the police. Hyewon leaves and they chase her. When one of the men slapped her, Hyewon slapped him back. Then the man wanted to slap Hyewon again, but was blocked by Tae-oh. Tae-oh grabbed Hyewon's hand and asked if Hyewon had another place to stay away from them. Hyewon has had this experience many times and never tries to avoid it. Because if she ran away, it feels like Hyewon accepts her as her family. In-ha was told that someone was looking for her and asking Hyewon for money. In-ha was shocked and tried to contact Hyewon, but Hyewon ignored In-ha's call. Then In-ha and Tae-oh suddenly ran to look for Hyewon. In-ha, who found Hyewon first, suddenly hugged her. In-ha is really worried about Hyewon. In-ha also kissed Hyewon, and while they were kissing, Tae-oh came into the room and saw them kissing. Tae-oh was shocked to see that, and at that time, Hyewon also saw Tae-oh standing looking at her. Tae-oh saw Hyewon carrying a big bag. Hyewon said that she was going to In-ha's place. Hyewon said goodbye to Tae-oh. Then Tae-oh held her hand and said, "Don't go." Hyewon said, "We don't mean anything to each other. Are you sure you won't regret it?" Tae-oh replies that he won't regret it. Hyewon apologized because he won't regret it. Hyewon asked, "Don't you want to live differently from now?" And Hyewon left Tae-oh. Tae-oh heard a knock on the door. It turned out it was Hyewon. Tae-oh just didn't move. Then he got a call from In-ha. Tae-oh received the call and Hyewon, who heard from outside, left Tae-oh.
말해.
5 years later, In-ha wore a knit suit to welcome Chairman Kang Jong-mo. He was followed by Professor Chai, Kang Sung-ju, and Kang In-ju. As they sat together in one room, Professor Chai introduced the man who wrote the speech the chairman Kang would deliver. It turned out that the man was Han Tae-oh, who was part of the global leader training team. This is when Tae-oh and In-ha start the game.
지금부터 시작이야.
Several years later, the revenge plan began against Kang In-ha's family. Finally, Tae-oh managed to work at Kang Joo-moo's place. Kang Joo-moo really liked Tae-oh's performance, until Tae-oh was called to the room where there were Kang Joo-moo's children, including Professor Chai Dong-guk. Then they were all told to leave except Tae-oh, and it turned out that Kang Joo-moo knew Tae-oh's secret and what Tae-oh's real name was. Because he knows Tae-oh's secret, and he also asked Tae-oh to cooperate with him. So Tae-oh was very forced to work with him. Even though Tae-oh initially wanted to resign, Kang Joo-moo didn't allow that to happen.
세게 듣겠습니다, 회장님.
And Tae-oh Professor Chai Dong-guk will be dismissed from his position. Tae-oh also added that he told In-ha that what Tae-oh should really worry about In-ha's second older brother, Kang Sung-ju, because he is aiming for the highest position in the company. Then after thinking about it again, Tae-oh came to see Kang Joo-moo and said that he wanted to work with Kang Joo-moo. Until 5 years has passed, Kang Joo-moo was swimming and he had a heart attack. Suddenly he fainted. Luckily, Tae-oh was quick to save Kang Joo-moo. All his children, in-laws, and his wife came to visit him. But now he was fine and they were told to live there. The relationship between In-ha's first brother and his second brother was not very good. And In-ha's stepmother biological children were Kang Sung-ju, and the other was Kang Hyo-ju. Meanwhile, the first is that Kang In-ju is also not his biological child. Continuing for 5 years, Tae-oh really worked well without the slightest mistake. That's why In-ha's father really liked Tae-oh's performance. Meanwhile, Kang In-ha works at medical company, where they often carry out research related to robotics and all kinds of things. And one of the research doctors who present on his workplace at that time was less than satisfactory and he did not master what he created. More precisely, he seemed to have plagiarized.
화이팅!
Meanwhile, Na-yeon works at an information company like a journalist. At that time, there were lots of party elections that where Kang Sung-ju took advantage of the opportunity to oppose the candidate who was predicted to win. Well, it turned out their activities were recorded and observed by a hacker. This hacker was someone Tae-oh taught him to do. Then the recording was immediately sent to Tae-oh, and he wasn't too surprised because he knew that Sung-ju's purpose was. Then the three of them captured Tae-oh, Kang In-ha, and Yeon. Here, the three of them actually worked together to achieve the goal led by Tae-oh.
나는 절대불변의 법칙을 깨부수려야겠다.
The next day, Jung Sung-do, the person who was approached by Kang Sung-ju, won the most votes, and he was elected chairman of the party. And it turned out Tae-oh, In-ha, and Yeon already knew this. This was also part of their plan. Then Tae-oh reported this to Kang Joo-moo. It was as if they didn't know about it. And it made Jung-moo so angry, and his heart disease almost come back. Then Jung-moo asked Tae-oh to find out who was behind Jo Sung-dong, even though, in fact, he was his own second child.
예, 회장님.
That evening, Tae-oh asked Yeon to help him get some information related to the people they would make their next targets. He gave Yeon 2 days. He also asked Yewon whether he had decided to marry In-ha or not. Yewon says he's not interested yet, and here Tae-oh looks like he still hopes to be with Yewon. The next day, Yewon met one of his colleagues who worked there. Actually, this colleague doesn't like Yewon, but he is a source of information that Yewon will give to Tae-oh. It turned out that Yewon is a person who is not that easy to predict, as the currently running candidate, namely Chung Sun-dong. Then it turned out that Yoo-chu has affianced to someone named Ko Hyu-chan, the son of her mother's friend. But Yoo-chu doesn't want to, because she only wants with Tae-oh. Because she didn't accept it, Yoo-chu immediately went to her mother's house and protested with her mother. However, her mother still forced Yoo-chu to marry Ko Hyu-chan. But Yoo-chu said that she still didn't want to. And if her mother forced her, then Yoo-chu would be determined to end her life.
그냥 하는 말 아니야.
When he came out of her mother's room, she actually wanted to call Tae-oh, but Yoo-chu pondered her intention to call Tae-oh. One co-worker and several people gathered, and they were discussing something quite confidential. It turned out that Yewon had deliberately installed a recording device in the room. Yewon has been working with the owner of the place. It turned out they were talking about Kang Sung-ju. After that, Yewon sent a message to Tae-oh and asked him to gather again with In-ha and immediately discuss what she had heard earlier, where it turned out that Sung-ju was also involved there, and they were going to spread the companies led by In-ha's father. Their plan was to get rid of Kang Chung-moo so they can master it. Because Kang Chung-ju's goal is to become the leader of his father's company. The three of them had to move faster before Sung-ju succeeded in carrying out his plan. Here Tae-oh asks In-ha and Hye-won to believe in him, because he believes their plan will succeed.
조순동과 강성주와
The next day, Tae-oh met with his hacker friend. His hacker friend gave him several photos and some information where it turned out that there was a lot of money laundering, but under the guise of raising funds. And Tae-oh immediately conveyed this to Kang Chung-moo, that they had to immediately follow up on this, because otherwise they would lose. But it turned out that their enemy had already moved first.
으로 갔어야 하는 건데
In-ha's stepmother has met several people, including this doctor, to invite him to work together with In-ha's stepmother. He is one of the doctors who treated Kang Chung-moo's heart disease. So this doctor was asked by In-ha's stepmother to join her. And his mother also met a lawyer who worked with Kang Chung-moo to join her. His mother approached Kang Chung-moo important people one by one. Because Kang Chung-moo's lawyer couldn't be used by his mother, so his son, Kang Sung-ju, talked to him. At first he was loyal to Chung-moo and said that he pretended not to hear. But after being given a more attractive offer, he was finally tempted.
진짜 주인 되시는 거예요.
And without Kang Sung-ju realizing it turned out that his cell phone had been hacked by the hacker. So whatever activity he does, and the speaker says that he agreed to an agreement with them, it also looks like the hacker. Even though he also knew that Sung-ju had no intention of helping him. Then the hacker sent the information to Tae-oh. What was the conversation between Sung-ju and lawyer that he actually deceived? And whatever Sung-ju opened was visible to the hacker, including evidence of money laundering transaction. There's a lot of all of this there. Whatever the name, It really looks great. Then Han Tae-oh met Kang Chung-moo and gave him the information. Because of that, Tae-oh knows Kang Chung-moo's weakness, namely the money laundering business. And the goal of Kang Sung-joo and his mother is to control Kang Chung-moo's entire company. Kang In-ha and Na Ye-won met. It seemed like their relationship was very serious, because In-ha invited Ye-won to relax first and watch the beach view on the big screen. And then In-ha asked if Ye-won believed Tae-oh plan would be completely successful. But Ye-won said she didn't. He said he believed in her.
강인아,
That evening, Kang Chung-moo asked Tae-oh to gather all of the lawyers in his company. Here they were told to complete a job, but they were not allowed to hold their cell phone at all. And that made the lawyer immediately scared and worried. He was afraid that, for example, Kang Chung-moo would find out that he had made a secret agreement with his son, Kang Sung-joo. Plus, when he saw Tae-oh and Chung-moo, they were whispering. The more he worried, he confused himself that want to contact Sung-joo. He saw Tae-oh and thought Tae-oh was stalking him. Tae-oh then returned his cell phone, but he refused because he had to be affair. Because the rules were not to hold cell phone. The next day, Kang Chung-moo ordered everyone together, including his two sons, Kang In-joo and Kang Sung-joo. And this is where he said that Kang Sung-joo's position was immediately transferred and made to lead a company that was actually small, namely Kang Oh Securities Company. Kang Soo-joo didn't want to, but he couldn't do anything else, because his father told him to, and he couldn't move at all, and he was forced to obey his father. Then Chae Dong-guk was also included again, to be recruited again. Chae Dong-guk and Tae-oh are really happy because their plan really went smoothly. The night before, he had told Chae Dong-guk that later he would be recruited again, and Dong-guk thanks Tae-oh. Because he did not accept his father's decision, Kang Soo-joo was very angry and found it difficult to accept it. Knowing that their plan was successful, In-ha and Ye-won were happy to hear that. But they found another problem. Because the prosecutor office came to Kang Chung-moo office. They came there to confiscate all the items there. Before the prosecutor office received an anonymous email containing something that could make Kang Chung-moo explode. But why was this after they were going to bring all the documents? But it didn't happen. Because suddenly he got an order to stop their action.
회장님이 운이 좋으시네.
In-ha's stepmother came to Kang Chung-moo because she didn't accept that her son was being appointed to a position like that. But Chung-moo said that he didn't care at all and he didn't want to discuss it here. He asked to discuss it at home. Because coincidentally, his heart disease had started to recur again, so he didn't want his wife to see him as weak. But his wife still didn't want to leave, and said that she would beat Chung-moo, and would bring down Chung-moo. Not only him, but there are also other people who are very close to Chung-moo. But Chung-moo doesn't believe it, and says that his wife is lying to him. Because of this, his heart disease recurred again, caused him to fall. When Chung-moo fell, she was worried and she wanted to get Chung-moo medicine. But because her anger and greed were higher, she finally left Chung-moo. Luckily, Tae-oh arrived on time, seeing Chung-moo's condition like that, so he helped Kang Chung-moo, and he told In-ha about her father's condition. And In-ha was worried. Chungmo's entire family gathered and saw that Chungmo was unconscious, and he was in a critical position. Chungmo's wife, Jang Kum-suk, pretended not to know anything. However, Kang In-ju didn't trust his stepmother, because the last person his father met was his stepmother. Jang Kum-suk said that In-ju's father had a heart disease that could recur at any time. When In-ju corners his step-family, Kum-suk pretended to have a headache, so Song-ju and Hyo-ju asked In-ju to stop the fight. While they were arguing, Tae-oh came. He asked Chungmo's family to leave the room. Because the doctor said that Chungmo was told to rest, finally Tae-oh met Hyo-ju, but Hyo-ju still held back. Hyo-ju immediately left without saying a word. After they left, Tae-oh all got a message from In-ha. Tae-oh comes out to meet In-ha. Can In-ha still trust Tae-oh, seeing his father lying unconscious? In-ha asked Tae-oh to keep his promise. Tae-oh convinced In-ha not to hesitate because if In-ha hesitated, the plan could be failed. Tae-oh asked In-ha to trust him and wait for him. In-ha is still trying to put his trust in Tae-oh. Meanwhile, Tae-oh is called In-ju. He will give him a luxurious house if Tae-oh wants to cooperate with him. The meaning is to move to become an In-ju's subordinate, no longer with his father. But Tae-oh doesn't want to, and even if he wants, he asks for something bigger than a house. That is everything owned by In-ju.
올라오라고 이 새끼야!
This made In-ju very angry and took out his frustration on his driver. He also asked the driver to check and keep an eye on Tae-oh. After that, Tae-oh met Ye-won at that place where they often chat together. Tae-oh actually wanted to comfort by Ye-won, but Ye-won couldn't do that considering Kang Chungmo was in the hospital. It seemed like the situation is not favorable for them. But Tae-oh asked Ye-won to wait and trust him.
고맙다.
천만에
After that, Tae-oh went to the hospital to visit Chungmo. It turned out that Chungmo was fine. He asked Tae-oh if he could trust Tae-oh, because Tae-oh never asked Chungmo for anything. But Chungmo has the card Tae-oh, and Tae-oh also has Chungmo's card. Tae-oh also explained that he chose Chungmo and collaborated with him, because he had a goal that could be realized with Chungmo. And they would plan to punish Sung-ju and also everyone related to him. Then Tae-oh said that he was asking for condition, that in their plan this time they had to involve Kang In-ha, because he was the only one of Chungmo descendant who could currently be used. And here Tae-oh wasn't sure if they were only using In-ha temporarily. For example, it is no longer useful, Chungmo can throw it away. Then Chungmo asked Tae-oh to prepare a contract which outlined his role. After that, Tae-oh can bring In-ha to him. Finally, Professor Dunguk rejoined Song-ju, and Tae-oh is confident that he can easily get rid of Professor Dunguk again if he is no longer useful. The next day, Ye-won suddenly told Tae-oh that In-ha had suddenly disappeared, and Ye-won didn't know where to look for him. When he looked up, Tae-oh seemed to know where In-ha was. Finally, Tae-oh found In-ha. He called Ye-won so she would stop worrying. In-ha is at the beach, because when he is disappointed, he is always there. In-ha's past was very sad. He watched his mother die by suicide before his eyes. Tae-oh says that actually his father is fine. He is just pretending he's still dying. In-ha, who heard that, was shocked and angry with Tae-oh. He felt that Tae-oh no longer trusts him because he kept it a secret. Tai-o asked Inha to calm down, because if everything doesn't go according to plan, then they will have to go back to the beginning again. Tai-o did all that for Inha, because he was going to make Inha the chairman of Kanggo. Inha then asked what Tai-o was for, but Tai-o didn't ask for anything, because the reason Tai-o was there was for Inha. Then Tai-o asked Inha to come with him because Chairman Jung-moo invited him.
강준모 회장의 셋째 아들 강인아.
Yoo-choo met her future husband at a bar while with a woman. Yoo-choo decided not to be his future wife. Yoo-choo asked him to convince his parents to annul their marriage. But what happened was the opposite. He called his mother and agreed to go on a date with Yoo-choo. Yoo-choo suddenly stopped right in front of Tai-o's car. And Tai-o asked her to go home because it's getting late. Yoo-choo refused and hit Tai-o's car with her shoe. Tai-o stopped her and put her shoes back on. Yoo-choo will tell her parents that she will marry Tai-o. If Tai-o is willing, will they give in and accept the marriage? Should Tai-o endure being treated like trash and dreaming of becoming a Yoo-choo husband? This is not a fairy tale. There is no happy ever after ending. Tai-o asks Yoo-choo to stop being the princess. When Tai-o feels tired and under a lot of pressure, he listens to songs that his mother used to like while resting and calming his mind. Jung Kung-suk invite important people and also his son, Sung-choo, to hold a meeting. That currently Chairman Kanggo is being treated, so she replaced that role. But Kung-suk realized that she is not very capable in that company, and then decided to nominate Kang Sung-choo as the chief officer of Kanggo. Then the hacker carried out his action, namely depositing Kanggo securities in the amount of 1,000 shares per person, and if add up, 5 million shares were given by all Kanggo securities shareholders. Kung-suk visited his husband and said to just stay asleep because his son, Kang Sung-choo, will lead his company. Kanggo will become Kang Sung-choo's word. Then Sung-choo got a call and he was very shocked by the news. There was a new sale accident. Instead of 1,000 won per share, shareholders received 1,000 shares in this ridiculous accident. Kang Sung-choo was very emotional and couldn't believe what was happening. And Sung-choo received a summons from the prosecutor office. Finally, Kang In-ha met his father, Chairman Kang Jung-moo. In-ha apologized for ruining Kang's image. Kang Jung-moo knows why In-ha did that. In-ha thinks that what happened with Sung-choo was a gift for his father. If In-ha saved his father, then he will officially recognize him as a member of the Kang family, namely the son of Chairman Kang Jung-moo. In-ha wants everyone to know that Kang In-ha is Kang Jung-moo's son. Then his father gave the document for In-ha to read and sign. Kung-suk felt stressed by the pressure his son was under. She cut his favorite flowers. Then Kang Jung-moo comes and shows that he is fine, that he deceived her. His wife didn't accept it and want to hit Jung-moo. Her husband will punish her because he is still alive. Kang Jung-moo asked his assistant to prepare dinner and invite all his family members. Finally, In-ha came to the dinner party. Her stepmother still didn't accept it and left the dining table. In the morning, Kang Jung-moo went to the company, accompanied by In-ha. When in front of the reporters, In-ha called Kang Jung-moo's father, and then made the reporters ask if he Kang Jung-moo's son. Chairman Jung-mo was integrated at the prosecutor office, and the chairman admitted all the accusation, and his lawyer made a defense containing at the USB. And it turned out that the data had been prepared previously. The prosecutor thought that the chairman was openly bribing the prosecutor, and In-ha asked the prosecutor to check the USB first. When he checked the content of the USB, he was shocked because it contained evidence of the bribery at the East District Prosecutor Office. And that actually resulted in the prosecutor being transferred to work. There is a lot of the media about Chairman Kang-gook's third child. The public is wondering why Kang In-ha has only now appeared. This made the chairman's two sons, Kang In-ju and Kang Sung-ju, angry. Sung-ju still thinks that Kang-gook is his. He doesn't care what people say. Within the company, it was also be seen that Kang Tae-oh was promoted to division director, and Kang In-ha served as chief manager. When he met Tae-oh, Choi Dong-gook congratulated Tae-oh. He also asked about his position at the company, and Tae-oh said that his position would continue without any change. Kang Sung-ju was angry because his mother decided to leave his residence and go to the villa before Chairman Kang-gook made an official announcement. Sung-ju meets with Chairman Jung-mo, and the chairman asked Sung-ju to leave in silence because he still allows Sung-ju to leave. If Sung-ju and his mother try to do anything else, then there is no place for them in Kang-gook and Pisan-jae. The chairman asked Sung-ju to remember his words if he wants to stay. Sung-ju then stood up and asked his father, and what after that? That Sung-ju has worked hard all his life and is his son without any shortcomings. He did all that for his father, but why did his father have the heart to do this to him and would not forgive his father? And it turned out that it was Sung-ju's imagination. He still knelt and obeyed his father's word. He left his father with a gloomy face. In-ju asked her friend about In-ha and Tae-oh's relationship. His friend said that they were friends and studied at the same place. In-ju then asked his friend to tell him something else. In-ha sent a message and invited him to go to the beach. While at the beach, In-ha suddenly held Ye-won's hand and gave her a ring. It turned out that night In-ha proposed to Ye-won. Ye-won hugged In-ha and said, "Let's get married."
결혼.
They both also lit fireworks on the beach to celebrate the proposal, and that time they looked happy. Then In-ha sent a message to Tae-oh saying that he would marry Ye-won. And Tae-oh replied to In-ha's message and congratulated him. When Tae-oh met Chairman Jung-mo, suddenly Chairman saw his future plans to create a joint prosperity cooperative. But they still lack funds to fund construction. So the chairman is risking everything to support Kang In-ha in this negotiation. And the reason why chairman believes in In-ha is because of Tae-oh. Tae-oh meets with his girlfriend and says that there are currently no requests at this time. Tae-oh asks his friend to stay hidden and be careful. It turned out that the friend was Kim Kwang-gil from the Lazarus Special Force who was born in North Korea. Tae-oh told In-ha that he was leading the negotiation team, and it was his first performance. So everyone will be watching him and waiting for him to mess up, and then also waiting for him to fail.
그럴 거야.
Ko Hui-chan met Yoo-ju and brought her coffee. But Yoo-ju ignored him and refused to meet him. Yoo-chan's father said that he should be engaged with Yoo-ju. Yoo-ju asked if Yoo-chan loved her. Yoo-chan hadn't answered yet, but Yoo-ju had already left him.
나 아직 대답 안 했어.
While Tae-oh was in a meeting and discussing strategy with In-ha, suddenly someone came. It turned out that In-ha invited two of his friends without telling Tae-oh first. Tae-oh asked In-ha to talk together. In-ha explained that they are In-ha's best friend, and In-ha asked Tae-oh not to worry. Tae-oh met Hye-won at their usual meeting place. Hye-won received an offer to become an heir from a House of Representatives. Tae-oh asked Hye-won to consider it and would help her. But Hye-won said that she would do it by herself and would try on her own. And that time Tae-oh saw the ring Hye-won wearing. He asked when is the wedding date. Hye-won smiled because it hadn't been decided yet. Then she invited him to go home. When Tae-oh congratulated her, Hye-won was silent, as she didn't like Tae-oh's words. It turned out there was a man who took a photo of the two of them. Finally, negotiations between Kang In-ha and Ko Hui-chan began, and the negotiations were tough. And while the meeting was in progress, Mr. Chung got a message. Tae-oh and In-ha saw it. Tae-oh met him asked what Mr. Chung actually got during the meeting. He replied that it was a private message from his friend. Tae-oh couldn't stop thinking about him, even though it was an important meeting, and Kang's reputation is at stake, and he exchanged private message with a friend. And Tae-oh asked him to go home, and Mr. Chung told In-ha. In-ha asked why Tae-oh sent Chung home. Tae-oh explained that this is an important meeting, but he ends up exchanging messages with his friend. In-ha emphasized that he had the authority to make decisions regarding the cell, and that also included the right to disciplinary action at the meeting. Tae-oh insists In-ha invited Cheong to attend another meeting. Finally, Yoo-chan gave a price increase of 13% and job succession condition. That made Chairman Jung-mo angry and slapped Tae-oh. In-ha asked Chairman Jung-mo to punish him instead of Tae-oh. The chairman asked what was In-ha's mistake. In-ha couldn't answer, but instead apologized, and that made the chairman even more angry. Because In-ha questioned the word's choice for a trick. Because In-ha hadn't heard of Tae-oh's trick before. Then the chairman asked In-ha to quit and just talk to Tae-oh. That made In-ha angry and disappointed. In-ha thought that in the end, the chairman didn't expect anything from him.
아버지.
The chairman asked Tae-oh to take responsibility if there was a legal problem, because there should be no controversy that would become a stand on Kang Jung-mo and Kang-woo. Tae-oh assured him that it won't happen again. While In-ha was playing basketball, Tae-oh came to see In-ha because In-ha couldn't be contacted. In-ha left because the chairman asked him to meet him. And while Tae-oh was playing basketball alone, someone followed him. And when Tae-oh took his cell phone, the person hit him on the head with baseball bat. It turned out that at the time Tai-o called Ye-won, and Ye-won was confused because Tai-o didn't say anything. Ye-won called Tai-o back, but Tai-o wasn't strong enough to move his hand. Ye-won arrived at the hospital and she is confused. He looked for Tai-o here and there, and finally he found Tai-o, who was unconscious and in a critical condition. Ye-won was asked to sign the agreement for Tai-o operation, because Ye-won wished Tai-o quieted. And then Ye-won wanted to go to sign. Tai-o suddenly grabbed Ye-won's hand. Tai-o asked Ye-won not to go over and over again and make Ye-won confused. And then Tai-o became unconscious. The nurse and doctors immediately took him to the operating room. In-ha meets his father and drinks together. In-ha asks his father blessing to marry Ye-won. When Ye-won called him, In-ha didn't pick up because he was still with his father. Ye-won tried to call In-ha again, but he still didn't pick up. Instead, her phone was rejected. Then his father asked In-ha to pick up the phone, and In-ha was surprised to hear the news from Ye-won on the phone. Then In-ha immediately told his father that Tai-o had an accident. Then In-ha asked someone to stop the investigation into Tai-o accident, because the investigation will create a fuss and Kang-gu should be mentioned at all.
무슨 말인지 아시겠죠?
In-ha met Ye-won at the hospital and asked about Tai-o's condition. Ye-won was worried because the operation took so long. In-ha hugs and calms Ye-won and says that Tai-o is a strong person. And when In-ha said that Tai-o was a lucky person, for some reason Ye-won felt angry. Yoo-choo just found out from her sibling that Tai-o had an accident. Yoo-choo was shocked and immediately left. Seeing Yoo-choo action like that made In-choo know that Yoo-choo likes Tai-o.
너 아니고?
야!
Ye-won faithfully accompanied Tai-o to the hospital and she saw Tai-o's hand moving. It turned out that Tai-o is conscious. Ye-won is really to know that. When Ye-won wanted to call a doctor, Tai-o held Ye-won's hand. They looked at each other with a deep kiss. Suddenly Yoo-choo came and asked what Ye-won was doing here. Then In-ha comes and says Ye-won has the right to be here. In-ha asked Yoo-choo not to worry because Tai-o is still alive. And it turned out that Yoo-choo really saw Tai-o holding Ye-won's hand. Yoo-choo said to In-ha that she doesn't like Ye-won. In-ha insists Yoo-choo for respect to Ye-won because he will marry Ye-won. Yoo-choo doesn't like Ye-won because she doesn't love In-ha. She only loves herself, so don't be fooled by her. Even though Yoo-choo had warned In-ha still defended her and asked Yoo-choo to stop insulting her. And apparently In-ha also saw Tai-o holding Ye-won's hand.
난 그런 거 안 해.
Ye-won and her partner chat about Tai-o's attack. Even if you cover it, you can still smell it. He felt strange because it was an ordinary attack, but the police did not make a report because of Kang-gu's instruction. And he said that the one who killed the other was Kang In-ha. Ye-won was surprised to hear that. In-ha looked after and accompanied Tai-o at the hospital. Tai-o asks who was the perpetrator who attacked him. In-ha says that everyone agreed to forget about the incident, that there was no investigation. Tai-o was even more shocked that it was the chairman and In-ha who were made decide that. Tae-oh thinks that this attack is not an ordinary attack. In-ha asks Tae-oh not to think like that and asks him to rest. Then In-ha also said that his father gave his blessing to marry Ye-won. Even though he still hasn't recovered, Tae-oh is determined to leave the hospital and meet Chairman Chung-moo. Tae-oh wants to know who did that, and he's going to find out. The chairman reminded Kang-woo's name should not be mentioned, and other people should not know that the victim was close to Kang Chung-moo. Tae-oh also promised not to mention his name and Kang-woo. Then Kang Chung-moo called someone and asked him to find the culprit before Tae-oh found him first.
누구보다 자네가 먼저.
Tae-oh almost fell on the street because he hadn't recovered yet. Then he took a taxi and fell in front of a restaurant where his hacker friend was there. His friend panicked because Tae-oh looked very sick. He gave him temporary medicine and waited for another friend to take him to the hospital. His friend thought that Tae-oh wants something because he risked his life to come and meet him. Tae-oh asked his friend to check the location and time of the attack on him. And then Tae-oh was taken to the hospital by another friend. Ye-won really didn't think that In-ha had stopped the investigation into Tae-oh attack. In-ha doesn't want Tae-oh to mention his name and is embarrassed if the police investigate later. For a moment, Ye-won forgot that In-ha was Kang Chung-moo's son. Why In-ha wasn't curious about who attacked Tae-oh, even though Tae-oh was his friend, and he was actually the one who stopped the investigation. Ye-won couldn't stop thinking, even though Tae-oh almost died because of that. His hacker friend immediately found out who attacked Tae-oh. And finally he found the perpetrator and sent a photo of the perpetrator to Tae-oh. Tae-oh recognized the person. He was Kang In-ju's personal driver. He asked his hacker friend to find information about Kang In-ju and his driver.
하나도 빠짐없이.
Finally, Tae-oh heard Won had healed, and he was allowed to leave the hospital. Tae-oh followed the driver who entered a nightclub. They meet and the person casually asks why Tae-oh was there. Tae-oh has just that he wasn't surprised by his arrival. Tae-oh pressed him to tell him the reason for the attack, but he pretended not to understand Tae-oh's words. Tae-oh asked In-ju's driver to tell him that Tae-oh would not forget his warning, and he always responded to what he was received. Ye-won and Tae-oh met at their favorite place. Ye-won was happy to see that Tae-oh was fine. Tae-oh suddenly said that, at that time, he was a coward. Ye-won stopped Tae-oh saying that it was over. Tae-oh continued that he thought he would die, but at that moment, all he remembered was all about Ye-won. Ye-won asked him to stop, but Tae-oh still expressed all his feelings. Tae-oh apologized to Ye-won, and Ye-won said something similar to what Tae-oh said. And Tae-oh couldn't hold back his feeling and kissed Ye-won. Ye-won pushed him and asked what Tae-oh really wanted from Ye-won. Tae-oh just wanted to enjoy this moment, and they kissed. And that time it turned out that In-ju's driver took a photo of them and gave the photo to In-ju. Finally, the wedding between Kang In-ha and Na Ye-won was held. Tae-oh looked at them with a sad look. Yoo-ju and In-ju looked at Tae-oh, and then Tae-oh left the event. Ye-won met In-ju in front of the elevator. In-ju asked Ye-won to come in, But when Yewon refused, Inju suddenly drew a photo of Yewon kissing Tae-oh. Yewon was forced to comply with Inju's request. Tae-oh was shocked when he woke up with his clothes covered in blood, and he was holding a sharp weapon covered in blood. He was even more shocked to see Inju sitting unconscious with his body covered in blood. What actually happened?
Kong Inju took the cell phone while Haiwan was calling Tae-oh. Tae-oh was shocked by the call and he rushed to meet Kong Inju in No Haiwan. Tae-oh immediately looked for Haiwan, but it turned out that Haiwan had separated from Inju. Because the bride can't be here, said Inju. Inju gave him a photo with Haiwan and made him not move in front of Inju. Tae-oh is not afraid of punching threats because he has a weakness for punching, namely the drug business. But Inju still wasn't worried about that and kept pressing Tae-oh. Inju asked Tae-oh to kneel in front of him. Tae-oh was forced to comply because he didn't want to make Haiwan suffer if the photo spread. Inju felt satisfied and then burned the photos. Inju started partying by drinking and doing drugs. For some reason, Tae-oh felt dizzy at that time. He fell and became unconscious. Tae-oh was shocked when he woke up with his clothes covered in blood and he was holding a sharp weapon covered in blood. He was even more shocked to see Inju sitting unconscious with his body covered in blood. Tae-oh feels something is wrong. Why doesn't he remember anything? Sungju is shocked when he is told that Kong Inju has been killed. Kong Inju's wife and his younger sister, Kong Huiju, were also shocked when they heard the news of Inju's death. Haiwan and In-ha were also shocked when they saw the news on television. Haiwan assured In-ha that it wasn't true. In-ha asked Haiwan to stay at home and not worry. He promises to bring Tae-oh back. When interrogation, Tae-oh said that he couldn't remember anything. But the police still declared Tae-oh a suspect in the 2 murder cases. Because only 3 people used the private lift for the royal suite, and Tae-oh was arrested at the crime scene. Tae-oh said that the private elevator can only be used by the Kango owner and his family. And there is also no CCTV to protect the owner's privacy. Then the police brought evidence that pushed Tae-oh into a corner. That is, there is cocaine residue in Tae-oh's blood. Tae-oh remembers that night he was given a drink mixed with cocaine by Inju. Tae-oh can only remember that moment. And after he drank, he couldn't remember anything. The police show the injection marks on Tae-oh's arm. The police said Tae-oh didn't remember because of the drugs in his body, and because Tae-oh was drunk. In the news it was stated that Tae-oh had been accused of embezzlement in a separate investigation by the prosecutor's office before this incident. And Tae-oh has been dismissed from the company because he caused huge losses. Haiwan and Chairman Jong-mo were angry watching the news. Then Chairman Jong-mo called In-ha and asked about the news. That he told In-ha to block media coverage. In-ha could only apologize to his father. But he got even angrier because In-ha apologized again. His father said that the information came from an insider. Then that person has to pay a high price. Tae-oh's foreign friend makes a passport for the hacker. He thought that the hacker would escape. But he just avoided it just in case. Finally, Tae-oh's trial was held. The driver Kong Inju testified that he left the 2 victims and Tae-oh after dropping them off. And he said that Tae-oh was planning a second party at the hotel. Tae-oh could only sit quietly and think. Tae-oh gets a visit. It was In-ha and he was angry with Tae-oh. Because Tae-oh has ruined their plans and dreams. In-ha said he would try to restore everything that was damaged. Tae-oh feels that In-ha has no right to forgive him while he is still in prison. But Tae-oh felt strange because In-ha didn't ask anything. He didn't ask Tae-oh why about anything. Chairman Jong-mo felt strange about the injured driver, Mo Jae-jun. Why is Mo Jae-jun a nobody but dealing with Tae-oh? Why did In-ju try to kill Tae-oh? And why Tae-oh killed his son, Kong In-ju? Chairman Jong-mo must know the real reason. Tae-oh was in prison and didn't eat his food. So it made him dizzy and suddenly, he remembered something. He remembered what happened that night. That there was one other person at the time of the incident at the hotel. Until he fainted and confused the officers.
또 한 사람.
Tae-oh woke up in the treatment room. Tae-oh saw that there was a telephone in the room. When Tae-oh wanted to take the phone, suddenly the doctor came. She asked if Tae-oh is on hunger strike to prove his innocence. Then he asked Tae-oh to survive to have hope. And the doctor offered to help, so Tae-oh could call. Because Tae-oh had killed In-ju for her. Then Tae-oh rushed to call, because the officers would come soon. It turns out he called Hye-won. Hye-won was surprised to get a call from Tae-oh. He left the room so as not to wake In-ha. Hye-won asks if he really killed In-ju. Tae-oh replies that he will find out. When Hye-won offered help, officers suddenly arrived. And Tae-oh hangs up and leaves with the prison officer. The officer felt Tae-oh owed him a favor for letting him call earlier. Then he wrote down the account number on Tae-oh's palm and asked Tae-oh to return the favor to him. Because nothing is free. Hye-won comes to Tae-oh's hacker friend's place. Hye-won said that Tae-oh asked her to come see him. The hacker refused because he didn't want to get involved with Tae-oh. Hye-won asked if he was involved with Kong In-ju's death. The hacker said what Tae-oh said he was involved. Hye-won answered no, then she delivered a message from Tae-oh. Even though he was in prison, Tae-oh could talk from there. And that Tae-oh needs his help. Tae-oh called Hye-won again. Hye-won believes that Tae-oh didn't commit the murder. When Tae-oh finished the call, In-ha was suddenly standing behind Hye-won. Hye-won asked In-ha to take a shower and rest. But then In-ha hugged Hye-won. In-ha feels that right now she needs entertainment from Hye-won.
사랑해.
Tae-oh gets a visit. It was his hacker friend, who disguised as Tae-oh's lawyer. He asked Tae-oh not to call and send someone to him. Tae-oh asks him to investigate what happened that night. And what does that have to do with Mo Jae-jun? Finally, the trial decided that Tae-oh was guilty and will be imprisoned for life. Chairman Jong-mo is still investigating Moo Gi-jun. It turns out that the villa employee who died in a hit and run was Moo Gi-jun's mother. And it turns out that In-ha goes to the same school as Moo Gi-jun. After growing up, he entered the company with the help of Kong In-ju. Chairman Jong-mo still finds it strange how someone can be attacked and take revenge to the point of killing. Like what Tae-oh did to In-ju. But according to Chairman Jong-mo's secretary, if Tae-oh wants revenge, he won't kill him, but will knock him down until he can't get up again. Chairman Jong-mo felt something was wrong and asked his secretary to investigate.
네.
Tae-oh gets a visit from the hacker. He brought evidence that Jae-jun's mother had been in a hit-and-run accident. At that time Moo Gi-jun was 7 years old and he moved to Kong in his villa. He lived with Inha for 7 years. When hackers tracked the disposable cell phone used by Moo Gi-jun, he found the contact Moo Gi-jun contacted. And when the hacker tried to call that number, turns out it was Inha. And when they called, the hacker listened to their conversation. Inha says that Jae-jun did a great job in court. Of course, Tae-oh was shocked and couldn't believe it. Then his friend asked Tae-oh not to believe in her, because it seems like he's not Tae-oh's friend. And the judge sentenced Tae-oh to life imprisonment. Tae-oh does not accept that decision. Hae-won felt very sad. Likewise, the chairman Jung-mo, then Inha informed Tae-oh of the punishment he would receive. The chairman felt sad and devastated. And Kong Hui-ju, who once liked Tae-oh, was very sad and disappointed. Tae-oh is transferred to a general prison. When introduced to his roommate, his friend was shocked by the red label on Tae-oh's shirt, which shows that he committed a serious crime. The gang leader recognized Tae-oh. It turned out that he was the person who had asked Hae-won to pay off her mother's debt. He tries to scare Tae-oh because he feels the most powerful. But Tae-oh didn't pay attention to it. Kong In-ha discusses Tae-oh's punishment with Kang-go's lawyer. The lawyer said Tae-oh probably won't get the death penalty because he is mentally disturbed. But In-ha hopes Tae-oh will be sentenced to death. He asked the lawyer to get Tae-oh sentenced to death using his connections. It turns out that In-ha was the one who told Moo Gi-jun to take a picture of Tae-oh and Hae-won. He was very angry and burned the photo of the two of them. When he looked in the mirror in the bathroom, he imagined Tae-oh and Hae-won making out together. Until Hae-won came to prepare clothes for In-ha. But suddenly In-ha kissed Hae-won forcefully. Hae-won rejects In-ha and he gets angry. Because Hae-won dared to reject him, he pushed Hae-won until she fell into the bathtub. And he also strangled Hae-won's neck. In-ha said that she chose Hae-won because Tae-oh wanted her. Tae-oh can want what he still wants, but he can't have it. In-ha asked Hae-won not to be afraid, because there won't be any problems as long as Hae-won doesn't forget who she is. It turns out that Hae-won had seen In-ha at the place where Tae-oh and Hae-won usually met. Tae-oh gets a visit from Hae-won. This was the first time Hae-won visited Tae-oh in prison. They asked each other how they were doing. And Hae-won answered that she was enjoying the jobless life she didn't plan for. Tae-oh apologizes for what happened, because Hae-won had to go through all this because of him. Hae-won says Tae-oh is in no condition to worry about anyone, that Hae-won would take care of herself. Then Tae-oh asks Hae-won to meet the chairman Jung-mo and tell him that Hae-won wants to work at the foundation, because the foundation is where the chairman Jung-mo handles his slush funds. Hae-won also asked what Tae-oh wanted, and Tae-oh answered that his wish was not Kang-go. At Tae-oh's suggestion, Hae-won finally met the chairman Jung-mo. But the chairman Jung-mo felt that Hae-won was testing him. Hae-won said that it seemed like Hae-won was useful, because instead of expelling her, the chairman chose to warn her first. Then Hae-won asked what the chairman wanted from her. Teo asks his prison friend to find a cell phone for him as quickly as possible. And they showed Teo the cell phone. But Teo couldn't have it before paying them. Teo agreed to pay if the cell phone was equipped with a charger. When Teo hit the cell phone, suddenly the officers came and said that Teo had a visit. It turned out that the person visiting him was his mother. But Teo refuses to meet her. And that made his mother very sad. But suddenly Teo stopped and turned back towards the visiting room. But when Teo arrived, it turned out that his mother was not there. His mother came out of prison, devastated. Seeing her son in prison and not wanting to see her. Because he resisted the officers, Teo ended up being isolated. And when an officer saw him, Teo felt like he had seen that person. His eyes were like a driver driving that night. And his eyes are different from Moon Gi-jun's eyes. And when he saw his friend, Teo started to take his hand and ask him for help. Turns out Teo called his hacker friend. Teo asked him to investigate who the driver was at the time of the incident. Because the driver wasn't Moon Gi-jun. If that's true, then Jae-jun is the one who killed In-ju. And the proof is the driver. Chairman Jong-mo calls in her. He invited Hae-won to dinner too. In-ha also invited Hae-won to go to the dinner. When Hae-won wanted to leave, In-ha grabbed Hae-won's hand and asked her to talk. But Hae-won didn't want to say anything. In-ha says that divorce is not an option. And Hae-won said that she would not divorce. Teo's hacker friend is looking for someone to help Moon Gi-jun. And he met a man who could find that person. Even though the man refused and didn't want to get involved, the hacker threatened him. And the man finally told the person who helped Moon Gi-jun. That person is Roy. They searched and chased Roy. But they failed and Roy managed to escape. When he felt safe, he called Moon Gi-jun and planned to meet at a bar. When he arrived, he didn't find Moon Gi-jun. Suddenly Moon Gi-jun comes and stabs Roy in the neck. And Roy fell with a wound on his neck. And it turns out that In-ha came to see Roy, who had died. He said to Moon Gi-jun, "Let's kill Hon Teo." Hae-won meets Teo in prison. Hae-won wants the future and present to be Kang-go. Teo says, "If you want Teo, then don't hide anything." Hae-won then removed the cloth covering her neck. Hae-won said that In-ha did that. And In-ha already knows what happened between her and Teo. That now there are no three of them anymore. Now it's just her and Teo. Teo confirmed that Hae-won would be the owner of Kang-go.
내가 꼭 그렇게 만들어.
At Kang-go's family dinner, Chairman Jong-mo said that Hae-won will be the director of planning at the foundation. Of course, this made all the children and daughter-in-law of the Chairman Jong-mo conflict. But the chairman remained adamant even though many people opposed him. And In-ha also doesn't seem to accept his father's decision. Hae-won said that she needed a reason to stay in the Kong family.
즐길 수 있을 때 즐겨.
Moon Gi-jun called the officers at their prison on Kong In-ha's orders. Then Teo is woken up by the officer that he has a visit. Teo left the room suspiciously. His roommate also woke up. Then In-ha came to a restaurant where the hacker was hiding. The hacker was surprised to see In-her there. In-her says that he is Taeo's rat. And In-her also said that Taeo was dead. Seone asks if In-her will kill him too. Then someone pointed a gun at him. It turned out to be his foreign friend. The foreigner was paid by In-her to threaten Seone to find Taeo's whereabouts. He pointed a gun at Seone to carry out his orders. But what happened was Seone grabbed the gun. Seone says that no matter how much In-her pays, half of it is Seone's. Hueju is confused by the news of Taeo's escape from prison. Then he found out Taeo's whereabouts by contacting Kanggo's legal team.
찾아주세요.
Haiwan's mother made a promise with Haiwan to ask her daughter for money. Then Haiwan gave her the money, but he asked to find someone professional. Her mother would easily find that person for her. Haiwan would give her double if she could find that person tomorrow. Her mother was confused about who Haiwan was actually looking for. Then she called In-her to find out who it was.
강서방 혹시 알아?
Taeo back to the night of the murder. He saw that Inju had been stabbed and Bona was being stabbed by a man. Then he saw someone wearing shoes that had iron guards. And it turns out that person is Kong In-her. Taeo woke up and was shocked by what he had just seen. Is it true that In-her is there?
거기.
Then someone came in to see Taeo. He is Chairman Kong Jong-mo. Taeo asked what actually happened. The chairman replied that without his help Taeo would have died. Because there is someone who is after Taeo's life. The chairman started to follow Mu Ji-jun and In-her. Taeo tells the chairman that he wasn't the one who killed his son, Kong In-ju. And when it happened, In-her was there. Haiwan got a call from her mother. Then Haiwan came to a quiet place. And when Haiwan called her mother, a man came. And the man showed a picture of the person Haiwan was looking for. But suddenly the person covered Haiwan in silence until Haiwan fainted. Haiwan was shocked when she woke up with her hands and feet tied. It turns out that In-her did that to Haiwan. Haiwan asked how much her mother received after selling her. In-her also asked why Haiwan was looking for Taeo. Haiwan was sure Taeo didn't run away because he had no reason to. In-her felt very angry because Haiwan had deceived him. Taeo received treatment from Chairman Jong-mo's personal doctor. Then Taeo went to the chairman and said what he was going to do with In-her. The chairman asked Taeo to get In-her away from Kanggo. Taeo can do anything to him. Then the chairman will return everything Taeo has. Kong In-her meets Park Sae-jin, the previous founder of Kanggo. In-her asks him to help In-her become chairman of the Kanggo. Because if he becomes the chairman of the Kanggo, then they will split the Kanggo in two. At first, Park Sae-jin wasn't interested because In-her was just Jong-mo's illegitimate child. But In-her threatened him. In-her says that Taeo is no longer there. And In-her's current future strategy office will move forward with him. Become the new kingdom of Park Sae-jin.
전부 대표님 품으로 안겨드리죠.
Kong In-her meets No Haiwan at the mental hospital. In-her offered something to Haiwan. If Haiwan could promise one thing, In-her would let it go. From now on Haiwan is there for Inha's sake. Like Teo before. Haiwan will be his next Teo. Haiwan had no choice. Because if she doesn't, she'll be out of there in a body bag. And Haiwan was forced to agree. Chairman Jongmo tells Teo that Inha deliberately put Haiwan in a mental hospital, but Inha let her go. Teo thinks Inha is trying to get the foundation/fund. Because Inha and Park Saijin need a lot of money to carry out the division of labor. Chairman Jongmo must get Haiwan to side with him. The Chairman Jongmo called Haiwan. He asked Haiwan to make a good judgment in choosing the side Haiwan would defend. But in return, don't stop Haiwan from doing anything. Because there are things Haiwan really has to do now. Teo meets with Chairman Jongmo and discusses Park Saijin. That Park Saijin is just a tool for Inha. Once Inha gets what she wants, Park Saijin will be removed. Teo asks the chairman to get rid of Park Saijin himself. By means of Kengo separation. Give Park Saijin half Kengo along with Kengo energy. Chairman Jongmo objected to Teo's idea, but Teo promised to return everything. No matter how the Kengo changes, Chairman Jongmo will remain the owner. Inha saw Chairman Jongmo's personal doctor walking quietly in the parking lot. When checking Teo's health, he said that Teo's blood pressure and nutritional balance were normal. So he doesn't need to come there anymore. Teo thanked the doctor. Inha suddenly came to the chairman's room and saw the doctor. Teo heard something wrong. Then they were met by Chairman Jongmo. Inha said he was fine and asked Inha not to worry about him.
쉬십시오.
While in the elevator, Inha felt something was strange. And the doctor called Chairman Jongmo that Inha seemed to already know what happened. Then Teo asked Chairman to meet Park Saijin that same evening. And Chairman Jongmo agreed. Chairman Jongmo meets with Park Saijin. They both negotiate. Park Saijin doesn't need power, he just wants Kang's descendants. Someone to be his cannon fodder and shield. And Chairman Jongmo said that the child would leave Kengo tomorrow. That he will not have any offspring. Chairman Jongmo asked if that would change Park Saijin's mind. Huiju gets a call from Kengo's legal team. He said it seemed like something was going on in the chairman's office. Because chairman prohibited people from entering and also ordered room service for 2 people. He thinks Teo is together with chairman. Then Huiju went to his father's office. He did not find his father at work. Then Huiju went to Chairman Jongmo's rest room. She was shocked to see the wine scattered on the floor. And she was even more shocked to see her father unconscious in the bathtub. Teo called Haiwan. Haiwan was ready and asked Teo to come down in 5 minutes. Then Haiwan headed to the reception area. And she was given a key so she could access the VIP room. Then the key was transferred to Teo's hands. Teo went and entered the VIP room. It turns out that was the room where Inju and Bona were killed. Teo looked at the room and tried to remember the incident. He remembers someone stabbing Inju. And Bona recorded when they were drunk at the bar, in the car. And also, During the murder incident in the VIP room, the cell phone recorded all the events, and that is evidence. It turned out that before Chairman Jong-mo fainted in the bathtub, In-her met him first. The chairman doesn't like it because just anyone can enter his private space. In-her also said that he was not just anyone, he was his son. But the chairman will dismiss In-her tomorrow morning. And he will be expelled from the Kango group. Chairman said that In-her had the heart to kill Im-ju, his own brother. In-her was asked to return everything and return to his old life. If he had gone out quietly, Chairman would not have asked In-her to pay for what he had done. But In-her rejected it and opposed it. Chairman was very angry and asked him to get out. He threw the wine glass at In-her's feet. At that time his heart relapsed, and at that time the medicine fell off. The chairman fell into the bathtub. He was having difficulty breathing. In-her holds the chairman and says that Kong Jong-mo's Kango is gone. Kong In-her's Kango will begin. In-her let go of his father's hand. He also drowned his father until he was unconscious. Hoo-ju was in the hospital while her father was undergoing surgery. Her brother, mother and sister-in-law came and asked what happened. Hoo-ju could only answer that when she came her father had fainted. Then Haiwan came alone, and they asked, "Where is her husband?" Haiwan called In-her and he was surprised to get the call.
뭐?
Finally, Chairman Jong-mo's operation was complete. The doctor said that his condition was difficult because he missed taking his heart medication. And the doctor asked the family to wait. Tae-oh meets with Prosecutor Hall Myung-jin. Prosecutor Hall was shocked because a fugitive actually met a prosecutor. But Tae-oh asked Prosecutor Hall not to misunderstand, because he doesn't want to confess. Tae-oh says that he didn't kill Im-ju and there is video evidence on Shin Bona's phone. And he met Prosecutor Hall because he felt he had caused him trouble and would make up for it. Tae-oh will help him catch the real culprit. Prosecutor Hall doesn't easily accept Tae-oh's offer. He took and handcuffed Tae-oh's hands. Tae-oh says he has to make peace with the victim by catching the real culprit. This is your chance to return to being a prosecutor at the head office. Hoo-ju met Haiwan at her office. She's sure Haiwan knows where Tae-oh is now. But Haiwan said she didn't know where Tae-oh was at the moment. Then Hoo-ju threatened to report Haiwan. Because the last person with his father was Hon Tae-oh. Prosecutor Hall sneaks into the archives room. He looked for where the evidence was. Then after searching, he found evidence belonging to Shin Bona. And he took her cell phone. When he returned to the car, he immediately charged the cell phone. But they couldn't open it because they didn't know the password. Then Prosecutor Hall asked for help from an expert to open the cell phone. When the cell phone was accessed, it turned out that there was no video on the cell phone. He went back to the car and gave Tae-oh the cell phone. Tae-oh couldn't find anything on the cell phone. Then Tae-oh looked inside the protected folder on the phone. And finally, he found the videos. They saw the video of the stabbing of Im-ju and Bona. And they saw that the killer was Moo Ji-jun. There, Tae-oh was also seen being injected with something until he became unconscious. And it turns out there is another person who came to the hotel.
어딘가로 돌아가게.
Prosecutor Hall met with his first boss and showed him the video on Bonner's cell phone. His boss said that taking the evidence would cause problems for him. Therefore, Prosecutor Hall asked his superior for help. Then his boss said to pack things and he would take care of the procedures. Teo comes to the police station and turns himself in. And Prosecutor Hall carried out his duties. He came to the company where Moo Ji-jun works. Prosecutor Hall arrests him for killing Kong In-ju and Shin Bonner. In-her only saw it from upstairs. Kang-go's lawyer comes to the prison and meets Teo. Teo feels he doesn't have enough money to pay for a lawyer. But the lawyer said that he was asked by Chairman Jong-mo to help Teo to solve his problem.
어디서부터 시작할까요?
In-her meets Park Sae-jin at a bar. In-her knows that Park Sae-jin met his father. Park Sae-jin feels that his position is more interesting if he is with the owner of Kang-go rather than his illegitimate child. Because if the chairman wakes up, then In-her will leave Kang-go according to the chairman's plan. In-her cannot have Kang-go as long as the chairman is still alive. Sung-ju chats with his mother discussing Teo, who will be released soon. His mother asks Sung-ju not to worry, because the only person who could help him was chairman. Then his mother plans to accept Teo as their person. Prosecutor Hall interrogates Moo Ji-jun. Prosecutor Hall asks why he killed Kong In-ju and Shin Bonner. He answered, because Kong In-ju always hit and insulted him. Prosecutor Hall didn't immediately believe his answer. Prosecutor Hall feels that the murder was not his idea. Prosecutor Hall presses him on who actually ordered it. But he said it was all his idea. Teo chats with his friend in prison. Tomorrow he invites him to drink before his friend is released from prison. And that night the two of them drank in the prison room. Teo invited his friend to manage a company in Hong Kong called Gold Edge Investment. It was a shell company that Teo created, so that In-her would become chairman. And In-her didn't know that. Teo asked his friend to bet with Teo, instead of betting rubbish at illegal gambling houses, and took over the Great Kang-go. Finally, he got out of prison. And two of his men were waiting for him with tofu. The gangster boss met Haiwan. He recognized Haiwan because Haiwan was the daughter of the woman who stole his money. Then Haiwan explained about the Gold Age Investment Company. Michael Chang is the founder of the company. And it turns out that Michael Chang is the gangster boss. Then Sianu came and joined them. Sianu is an ace in that field. There was a large purchase of shares. And Gold Edge Investment Company is the company with the highest share ratio. That made Sung-ju and his mother confused. And In-her didn't like that either, and asked his assistant to find out about the company.
예.
Han Taewa's retrial was held. Taewa's lawyer stated that a civilian was harmed. And he hopes that the results of this trial will be an opportunity for Teo to have hope for a new life. Then the judge apologized and decided that Han Teo was not guilty. In-her knows that Teo was declared innocent and released from prison. He felt angry and asked his assistant to keep an eye on Teo.
알겠습니다, 본부장님.
In-her visited her father at the hospital at midnight. He apologized and said his father should have just died at that time, so they won't go through this twice. When In-her was about to take his father's oxygen tube, Teo suddenly stopped him. Teo didn't think that In-her could be that cruel. Teo says, if the chairman dies then In-her will be ignored. In-her doesn't accept Teo's words. Teo asks In-her to wake up and go back to how he was before. In-her says that he would have been Kanggo's leader if Teo hadn't bothered him. And Kong In-her he knew was gone. Teo asks In-her to use all his strength to stop Teo. Teo also said that In-her will end up empty-handed. In-her asks if Teo will knock him out and take Kanggo. Teo says can't In-her have the same dream as In-her. In-her replies that Teo is not Kong Jongmo's son. And In-her may be his son, but he couldn't have achieved it all without Teo. At midnight Moo Ji-jun was told that someone had visited him. He saw a cell phone lying on the table. Then the officer asked Moo Ji-jun to answer the phone. At first Moo Ji-jun was doubtful, and when he heard his voice he felt relieved. It turned out it was a call from In-her. In-her apologized for not being able to visit him in person. In-her asks if Moo Ji-jun can believe it. In-her was almost at the top and couldn't stumble now. Moo Ji-jun promised to bear everything. But Moo Ji-jun felt scared. It was only a matter of time that he would be sentenced to death. When the place was quiet, officers suddenly attacked him. He stabbed Moo Ji-jun several times until he fell. He stabs him using a toothbrush. It seems like it was an order from In-her. Kong Sung-ju sent an email to Gold H Investment. They saw that Sung-ju invited Gold H Investment to meet.
너무 걱정하지 마세요.
And In-her met Park Si-jin. They discussed Gold H Investment. And if Sung-ju collaborates with Gold H Investment, then PY Holdings could be threatened. Park Si-jin asked In-her to move, because he could let go of In-her's hand whenever he wanted. South Park Si-jin regretted his decision. Sung-ju and his mother went somewhere. And when they entered the room, they were surprised because there was already In-her. It turns out they were collected by Michael Chang, founder of Gold H Investment. Her mother was surprised to see In-her there. And In-her said doesn't he have the right to be the owner of the Kanggo? In-her is confident that he can fight Sung-ju and win. They were even more shocked to see that the person who entered the room was Teo. He introduced himself as the coordinator of the main director of Gold H Investment. When they were disappointed and about to leave, Teo said that he managed the Gold H Investment business. Teo gathered them all together because both parties wanted one thing. And collecting them into one can save time and energy. In-her stops Teo's car. He gets angry at Teo and asks if this is Teo's attempt to stop him. In-her won't let it happen. And Teo said that this had gone according to Teo's wishes. In-her called his stepmother and she invited In-her to have dinner together. In-her came to dinner that night and Teo was already there. When they toasted, In-her was late raising his glass. Then Tae-oh invited him to toast together. But In-her put down his glass and left them. In-her calls the commissioner. Then Tae-oh's father's temporary release was approved. The prison officer tidied up the files and also gave money to Tae-oh's father. And he also gave a cell phone to his father. His father accepted it happily. When he saw an incoming message on his cell phone, he smiled. It turned out to be a photo of his wife, who became a monk. And Tae-oh's father was waiting for his wife in front of the monastery. His wife was shocked and tried to avoid him. She was very frightened and asked her husband not to come any closer. Her husband asked her to come with him. If his wife comes with him, then he will forgive her. His wife didn't want to, because he had killed her. And when her husband wanted to approach her, his wife stepped back and she fell. Kang Sang-joo and his mother planned to hold an emergency press conference. And when everything was ready, suddenly his mother and the assistant waiter were arrested by the police. His mother was arrested for dumping bodies, offering bribes and embezzlement. Meanwhile, Mr. Moon was arrested for dumping a body. His mother asked the police not to at this time, because she refused to be taken to the police station. Kang Sang-joo also did not accept that his mother had been arrested. His mother asked Sang-joo to go to the press conference. The reporters were anxiously waiting for Kang Sang-joo and his mother. And suddenly In-her came to the conference. It turns out that In-her had previously prepared documents regarding the hit and run planned by the Kang-go family. In-her asked his secretary to report it to the police station. In-her gave a speech to the journalists who came. That Chairman Kang Jong-mo is still unconscious and is receiving treatment at Kang-go Hospital. And In-her stated emergency as situation in the Kang-go group. And appointed himself as acting chairman until the situation returned to normal. Sang-joo saw the video while accompanying his mother to the police station. He felt that he did not accept In-her's statement. And Tae-oh comes and he is surprised to see In-her speaking at the press conference. Tae-oh gets a message on his cell phone. It was a photo of his father coming out of prison. Tae-oh was shocked and immediately went to the monastery where his mother was.
조만간 보자고.
Hoo-je came to In-her's office angrily. She asked what happened to her mother. Hoo-je can't calm down and she can't contact Sang-joo. She also asked, who gave you the right to hold a press conference at a time like this? In-her asked Hoo-je to just listen to him and she will save. He also asked his half-sister to join and support him. Hoo-je felt like he wasn't In-her she knew. In-her meets Sang-joo at his office. Sang-joo asks if this is all he's doing. In-her apologized for making his own decision during the press conference. Sang-joo felt teased by In-her and he was very angry. What right does he have to make that decision? In-her asked Sang-joo to support him because his mother is finished. He asked Sang-joo to surrender. Sang-joo gets angry and hits In-her. Sang-joo thinks of In-her as a cockroach that sneaks in at the slightest gap. He was very angry and asked In-her to leave his office. Teo saw that his mother had died in the morgue. He really missed his mother and was very sad. He couldn't believe it and cried uncontrollably. Teo holds a funeral for his mother. Teo's friends were there to support him. Teo found out that his father had received permission to leave temporarily for 3 days and 2 nights. But he came back after a day, and it was very strange. Then Sungju came to pay his last respects to Teo's mother. Sungju said that they both lost their mothers, and he thinks it's the same person. Sungju thinks they have to talk about something. Teo visits his mother's grave. Then Haiwan also came there. Haiwan said that since she was born she had no mother. Meanwhile, Teo has an extraordinary mother who prays for Teo's future. Then Haiwan gave him a letter that Teo's mother had left behind. Teo accepted it and thanked Haiwan. Haiwan knows that Teo is stronger than anyone she knows. So don't be discouraged now. Teo opened the letter from his mother. There's something his mother needs to tell Teo. That anger doesn't solve everything. But his mother was sure of one thing. His mother didn't want her son to be trapped in the past. So forget the anger, hatred, and regret for now. His mother hopes that Teo can move forward, and he hopes Teo can forget the past. Teo visits Chairman Jong-mo, who has not yet regained consciousness. He said that he would protect Kang-go. And Chairman cried. It seemed like Chairman could hear Teo. Sungju visits his mother in prison. His mother said that Kang-go should not fall into other people's hands. Sungju calls his mother and says that it's over. Living for her mother's dreams sicken her. Is it really for Sungju's sake? Sungju said it was all for his mother's greed. That's why his mother pushed him that far. Sungju has never been happy all his life. He continues to be careful and pleases others. He never does what he wants. Sungju feels miserable and wants to stop now. He wants to be happy. In-her leaves for the company with confidence. He walked with his 2 men. When Sungju entered the press conference, he is with the Huiju and she asks how is her mother? Sungju asks Huiju not to worry, because her mother is fine. There is also Cha Dong-guk, Inju's wife, and also the man who was previously betrothed to Huiju. In-her and 2 of his trusted people took the elevator and prepared to attend the press conference. In-her felt like he had won. When the elevator opened, they were surprised because the prosecutor was waiting. In-her was arrested for the murder of Kong In-ju and Mu Ji-jun. In-her didn't accept it and rebelled. Teo watches as In-her is arrested by the prosecutor. Park Sae-jin got a call from his daughter. His daughter asks if he is going to the shareholder meeting. And his daughter asked to meet, because she had something to say to her father, that his daughter suffered greatly because of Kong In-ju. She can't live without the influence of drugs. It turns out that Park Sae-jin's daughter is a doctor who helped Teo when he was in prison. She apologized to her father. But her father felt it was his fault for not finding out more. And he would do his duty as a father before it was too late. Then the doctor called Teo. That her father wanted to meet Teo.
어디로 가면 되죠?
When he was in the interrogation room, Inha asked, "Was this Teo's doing?" Prosecutor Hall didn't answer and immediately interrogated Inha. Inha said that he had no evidence or witnesses. And Inha even threatened Prosecutor Hall for taking him there. Inha really underestimated a prosecutor. Then the prosecutor invited witnesses to come forward to enter the room. Inha was shocked to see Moo Ji-jun enter the room. It turned out he was still alive. Because when Moo Ji-jun was attacked, the doctor saw him and helped him. The doctor called and reported Teo that Moo Ji-jun was attacked. Teo comes and sees Moo Ji-jun's condition. He asks who does he think is capable of discarding others for personal gain? Inha has no friends. Moo Ji-jun is just another dog to him. Moo Ji-jun is living proof that he knows about Inha's actions and can stop him. Teo will help Moo Ji-jun. The days of being someone else's dog are over. Teo will help Moo Ji-jun to live his own life. Moo Ji-jun can only cry and regret. Moo Ji-jun was so angry, he grabbed Inha. He asked if he is just one of Inha's dogs and not his friend. Inha says he should not waver and be loyal until the end. Then the prosecutor played the recording of the incident. The footage shows the murder that Inha committed. And Moo Ji-jun was the one who helped solve the murder. Teo meets Park Sae-jin. They negotiate and Park Sae-jin asks how much does Teo want. Teo answered one share worth 1 million won. Because Park Sae-jin bargained between Chairman Jong-mo and Inha. Park Sae-jin feels that Teo reminds him of Chairman Jong-mo when he was young. Teo asks that he won't get involved with Inha again. Because Teo alone is enough. Inha gets a letter from his father, Kong Jong-mo. That is a decision letter from the court, who gave permission to change the name from Kong to Baek. Hueju calls Teo and asks him to talk. And he was waiting for him at Baisanji. Teo arrived at Baisanji and Hueju was waiting for him. While greeting Hueju, Teo was surprised by someone's arrival. It turned out to be Chairman Jong-mo. During the trial, the judge asked Inha, "Are there any last words that he would like to say?" Inha stood up and looked at Teo and Haiwan, but Inha had nothing to say. Then the judge gives a decision. That Inha kill his brother, Kong In-ju, and also tried to kill Moo Ji-jun. That the crime is serious and heavy. So Inha was sentenced to life imprisonment. Teo visits Inha in prison. Teo says he won't forgive Inha. And Inha also said that he would not apologize to Teo. Then Teo asked why Inha did that to him. Inha forgot the reason, maybe because he was on Teo. Teo feels happy because they were friends, and so does Inha. Then Teo gave a photo of the three of them at their graduation. Teo asks Inha to take care of himself. And Inha says goodbye to Teo. Hueju decided to go for vacation for a while. Sandro felt that the timing was not right because their mother was not there and their father was also not well. Huiju asked her brother to look after their father and mother until she returned. Huiju also invites Sungju to drink together when she returns. Tae-oh meets Haiwan and invites her to drink together. Haiwan asked if everything went smoothly. Tae-oh answered, "Not bad." Haiwan wants to focus on herself first. Because that's what Haiwan always wanted. Haiwan envies Tae-oh because he can be persistent and achieve his goals without being able to change. Tae-oh feels that Haiwan is like him. Past or present, they still lived as hard as they could. Those are the ones who will never change. At night Heir committed suicide in prison. There is a photo of him with Tae-oh and Haiwan at graduation. 3 years later, the Shared Prosperity Cooperative Center, led by Kong Sungju, experienced annual growth. And Chairman Kong Jong-mo's dream finally came true. Chairman Kong talked to Tae-oh before that Tae-oh has resolved the crisis in Kango. Without thinking about personal interests and only thinking about Kango's welfare. And can become the owner of the 151st floor. But Tae-oh has lost his love, friends, and family. And in the end Tae-oh has nothing but himself. If the chairman gives Tae-oh a chance, will he be able to protect it? Kong Sungjo met the chairman of Kango, Hon Tae-oh. Tae-oh asks if Sungjo doesn't regret it, because he could have served as chairman of Kango. Sungjo is actually sorry, but he trusts his father's choice. But he asked Tae-oh not to let his guard down. Because if there is a problem, Sungju can target that position. Tae-oh asked Sungju to keep an eye on him. When Tae-oh was 18 years old, he dreamed of that moment. And after achieving that dream, Tae-oh still dreams for himself.
이런 지금의 난